of. So that'd be something to just kind of keep mindful of as like you're kind of moving through this. Now let's take a look at the earnings plays. I think we got enough. Something to just kind of keep mindful of as like you're kind of let's take a look at the earnings plays. We'll see what's going on over here. All right. Good morning, everybody. TBIO, junk. Holy, You know, this will be an interesting one. Like this one is typically not like a big, I wouldn't say this thing is like a big mover, and it looks like it might be a buyout, so I'd probably leave that alone. Now this ZI, I think this is like this is right up our bread and butter. So in general, stocks that are breaking out the highs, that have some type of earnings beat out there, like that's a good look right there, you know? So you've got a stock, I mean, it's only about a 21 billion share company. You're pretty much at all-time highs. You're getting there. Like that's going to be, you get a whole host of upgrades today too. So you see JP Morgan, adjust price target. When you start getting an earnings beat, and then you get a slew of upgrades, right? So you're, I mean, a slew. So you need like 3, 4, like 5 upgrades. If you start getting a bunch of them pop in, that's when they can really get some juice going. This is like, we haven't traded this one for a while, so I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I remember how it moved, you know, when the IPO first came out, and it was hot. But the reason it was so hot when the IPO came out was that, you know, everybody thought that it was Zoom, like an offshoot of Zoom, because it's called Zoom technology. And I think it just shot up based on like the Zoom factor, because Zoom was at like $700 back then. Now that's not going to be, you know, the case anymore, but like it's making it move on its own accord. My issue on this, I think the big hairy, right, Indian butt on this is going to be, does it have any liquidity? Like, are we able to be getting in and out? 200,000 in the pre-market it's fairly good, but like I wouldn't consider that like epic. If it was a small cap or something, I would say no. But for a large cap stock, 200,000 is in the sweet spot. Let's see what SETIG is up to here. Citigroup, Upload, SETIG. These are solars. So SolarEdge, Q2 results rise. Okay. That's not too bad, actually. I think this one, I think we can add this. It's not going to have any liquidity. We won't know till we know. When a stock lacks liquidity because its price is too big, you almost always want to hit it on dips versus, you know, trying to like let it just kind of ramp up and chase it, because the spread will get you. This 295, guys, is like a huge, this 295 to 300 zone is like a really big level. SETIG has been known to make big runs. Like we've seen it go on like 30, 40 point runs before. I would actually put this on the list. And then the main thing is, like, even if this is going, say it just starts to just rip tits, you know, what we can start to do is get into the offshoots of the other solar plays, you know, so we can come back in and say like, okay, if this one's moving in hot, we can come back in on run. You know, run is sitting at a nice sweet spot. You know, then we can come back on ENPH. ENPH had a little bit of a rest day at resistance after his third green day, but you're starting to tighten up the range. Sun W is another one. Yeah, the Pola. Now, Sun W Pola, those are like, you know, like your fourth cousin that you see on Thanksgiving that never went to college. And you're like, they're like speaking about stocks and stuff. And you're like, oh man, motherfuckers, you telling me about stocks? And they're like, man, I hit that fucking Dogecoin. I'll tell you what, man, did pretty good on that thing. They hit that Dogecoin pretty good. You know, doing a little bit of that AMC too. That's like, you know, like Sun W Pola. Those are the stocks that, like, you know, your cousins would trade. But hey, Everybody's got a hot cousin, right? Everybody got a hot cousin you think about taking down. So you can add Sun W pull up. I think you stick with the best of the breed, and then you go down. So like I do like this ENPH quite a bit. Yeah, about 190. That'll kind of take it as an offshoot of SEDEX. So just something to kind of be mindful of. ARCT turd. Well, maybe it's not a turd, but it doesn't have that much liquidity. Man, this stock trades like shit. This stock is popping up. I didn't see the news on it. I don't think it probably matters on this thing. This is mostly like a pump and dump type of stuff. For now, I take, so this is a cult stock. And what I mean by cult stock is there's like certain stocks, they can stink and then they get picked up. They get picked up because there's like a certain subset of idiots that like to trade this stuff. I've got, a couple dear friends of mine in the chat room that are looped into there, but they're like smart idiots. Like they know what they're doing. But there's a certain subset of bro Twitter trader that likes this kind of name. Like the chart is there. If you get the liquidity, I think you can roll with it. If you get the liquidity, you can roll with it. That'll be the big thing. If that liquidity's in, I think you're fine. If it's not, then it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more tricky. I'd add it to the list with the caveat, we're going to need to see a lot of flow coming into that one, right? We're going to need a lot of flow to come into that one. Saba, man, this thing's a big gelatinous turd too. The problem is when you start trading for so many years, decades now, everything is a turd. Everything is a turd. But this one I know is a turd. If you have an enemy, say you hate your cousin, right? And you're like, hey, Ralphie, you want a hot tip? You go and get in that Saba here. Big dip, buddy. This thing will be back in $10 in no time. I think we got probably one more day of push on it. One shove on this. As you got this, if it fails at this gap fill, then it'll just roll over. But if it fills the gap, I think you short it at 100 and you're going to be probably pretty pleased on it. But you want to make sure you see the signs, right? So you don't want to get in front of this horse because of the spread and stuff. But I think we're going to get a nice shove on that. We're going to get a nice one. Periwinkles. Man, periwinkles are a beautiful color, by the way. Why are more people not wearing periwinkles? It's you see people wear blues and greens. A nice periwinkle that says I'm here. I have pizzazz, but not too much pizzazz where people would look at me in a non-manly way. Man, that's you're really in a really nice sweet spot of just charisma right there. I'll take it. That's a nice periwinkle tie you got there, sir. I'm right, man. Periwinkle is nice. Wow, man. We might just to get a little periwinkle in our life. And it's such a better name. Frankly, periwinkle probably is really close to lavender, but lavender would be not that cool. But periwinkle says you are something, that you have a little culture in your life, that maybe you speak a foreign language and you go to Spain and do some exotic dancing. Periwinkle's got that kind of flavor to it. Not too bad. All right. UA. So this is Under Armour. They reported earnings too. Under Armour stinks to trade. Retail stocks. Okay. HPI turd. Well, frankly, we've been making some money on the HPI, oddly. It's kind of grinding into this 10 spot. But it's really tricky to trade. If you notice on this, and this is you got to be a really good trader to kind of be able to stomach these things. When you see a chart, you see these big kind of wicks on them, right? This tells you that this is a pump and dump stock, that somebody gooses it up every day and then usually it's whoever the gooser is they dump it. And then it fades off the rest of the day, and hence the tail. So anytime you guys see, like you put a stock on your watch list, you see those tails, just know somebody's out there goosing it, and then it fades off. Now, the thing with that is like, okay, it's better to be the gooser than the goosey, right? So if you're the goosey, is that proper terminology? How would the vernacular work on that, I wonder? Well, if you're the goosey, then you're going to be the one caught in these tails, right? So what you want to always do on stocks like AHPI is you want to come in whenever the gooser would be partaking in the goosing, right? So the gooser starts the goose and gets into the goosing, and that's where you want to be. But if you wait too long, then you'll be the goosey, which is just not where you want to be. Does that make sense? So tails, always, that means it's a pump and dump stock. All right. That always means it, right? You don't want to see too many tails on them. And when you see tails on them, you got to only hit them on dips. You start to like chase them up a little bit. They don't work well. Like if you see here, like you get a breakout like this HPI, it goes for like a hot second, right? And then it's just the, and the reason for that is very simple. The gooser and the goosies. That's it. That's what life really comes down into for anything that you ever do. You the gooser or the goosey. Word of advice for the day. That's all you really need to know. And if you do that, I think you can have a nice, successful life. Clorox. Oh, that's actually a pretty big breakdown over here. Dang, what do you think? What you think? It's not sexy. I mean, it needs a little bit of a pop. But like, yo, we could partake. We can partake if it pops. Let's add that to the gap down list. Hey, this Dolphin. Okay, so this Dolphin Entertainment. This Dolphin's opening down about 10%. If they flush this off at the open, I love I say they like there's like some like freaking cabal of traders, right? They. I hate when people say fucking they. Or like on the tweeter, like when people say like we are buying. It's like, who is we? It's just you. Like, it's you. You, Ronnie 404. It's you. Why would you say we? We are buying. We are playing. We are game. There's no we. Never understood that part. But I backtrack. This Dolphin is going to open down about 9%. If you get it flush down at the open, where you see minus 10%, then the SSR will trigger on it. This is happening a lot, I would say, in the last couple months. You get a big run. Then it spikes down at the open. The SSR triggers. Then it starts to hold a little bit. It starts to round. When it starts to do that, you can get the squeeze to the upside. Now remember, gooser, goosey. Once it squeezes to the upside and goes red to green, that's not necessarily where you want to come in. Like you start coming in at 13, then you the goosey. Cool. So this is hot. We want to put this on the list. I want to make sure first that the SSR triggers, which it's already getting there. Let it spike down. Let it round. Let it build. And then we go for glory. The good thing with the Dolphin is, number one, it's got a fantastic name. And number two, if you nail it right, I mean, there's a chance you get to sit around the rest of the day, which is always ideal, right? I mean, you nail it, you get a chance you get to sit around the rest of the day. Now, if you don't nail it, then you're going to be grinding your balls off trading till 4 p.m., trying to make it back. That's the catch-22 of these kind of stocks like the Dolphin and the Pet the Cat, T-Cat. Like yesterday, I had to trade to the close. Why? I took like 3 losses on Pet the Cat at the open. then I had to sit there all day, you know? So that's the problem. I had to sit there all day, grinding it all back. So that's where, you know, we got to be a little bit careful, but I do like the Dolphin. It's got a sweet name, Dolphin. Ooh, okay. So you got a little bit of juice on net teas. Yeah, I wonder if this net teas takes down the rest of the China. This is like got a big spread on it. It's really tough to trade. Okay, so you got Baidu, PDD. We'll keep these on watch. Like these are like rollover patterns. The problem with rollover patterns is this in a hot market. Rollover patterns just turn into rounding patterns if they don't start taking out the previous low. So the previous low is right here, like is let's say $80, right? If you don't take that out like within the next say like 4 or 5 days, then the bear flag just turns into a base breakout. So like that's like the thin line between it. Sometimes like you'll want to keep shorting it, but if it takes that bear flag takes too long, it ain't a bear flag anymore. Like it's a rounding pattern. That's like the small nuances of when to go long and short. That's when you actually probably just leave them alone. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. I would add these Chinese stocks, PDD, Billy. These are on our list at least for the next few days. This Billy actually looks like he could take out the that area, that zone relatively quickly. I mean, yeah, like you need to be rolling with these things. With the big hairy bot is that probably we got about one more week on watching them. If they don't take out those lows in the next week, then they're going to be duds for quite some time. I mean, they might be duds for like months at that point. So like if you like trading these, it's really important that they friggin' take out these lows pretty quick. So I'd roll with a little PDD, a little bit of Billy off this net tease earnings. You can see Billy's already down 6%. All right, let's talk about the regular watch list. I'll go back and do a quick gloss through and make sure we didn't miss any earnings plays. But let's just talk about the kind of the regular watch list. I think we've got a couple things that we can do today. Number one, we had a theme yesterday that was popping up for like a hot second, which is your NFTs. So like I would add in the Dolphin. I'd still add in Pet the Cat, even though Pet the Cat faded off a decent chunk. It did hold basically at that old breakout spot. A little retest is usually in the cards for Pet the Cat. Even this PLBY has been coiling up. I'd set an alert. Like I wouldn't put this on your main watch list. I would set an alert. Actually, you don't even need to draw a symbol on your T-shirt, guys. You can set alert, right at the moving average. So we want this thing condition greater than 20 SMA. So if it busts over there, get yourself a nice little alert, and we should be good to go. That's hot. That's hot. Only if it gets over the 20 SMA. All right. Otherwise, I'd probably leave this thing alone. Dennis Lowe, let me see. TBPH. It's all right. This thing trades thin, man. Thin. I think you're going to need a nice, I think you need more volume on that thing. A Funko, yeah, you're right. Funko could be NFT life too. Faux show. Faux show. Good. AMD, we're almost there, at least for like a few bucks. I would watch and see if this thing if it takes out yesterday's highs, that's where I want to see it like look for some failed follow through. If it goes red to green, takes out yesterday's highs, and that's probably where we want to start looking to see if we may kind of roll over city on this. We got some nice opportunities on red to greens. These are going to be these are the top of the list. All right. So you got SQ. Earnings are out in 2 days. They had some deal out for some company, and I don't think it was really anything, but they had a nice reaction to it. That's a big time breakout, by the way. Big time breakout right there. That's top of the list. Affirm, red to green, is second top of the list. That one's nice too. Woo! That one trades it has a little bit of a spread. SQ has no spread on it for the most part. It has a spread like 20 cents, but it closes quickly the spread due to the huge amount of volume that it does. This Affirm might be actually a little bit better. It might be a little bit better. I like it. I like it a lot. And then last one, we keep this nice and simple and sexy. UPST starting to take out a range that it's been sucking. So after its lockup, so UPST was like the hot stock, right? And then it had its lockup. So the lockup shares got released. This thing went on like a monster dumpy dump. And then, it just was no buenos anymore. Now, after that, you can start to see like what's going down. Downtown Julie Brown, which is you've got yourself a nice little range over here. Nice little range break. I mean, you're right there. There's no getting around it. You're right there. What you think? Oh man. That's top of the list. That's top of the list. So we got a FIR, UPST, SQ, top non-earnings plays, news plays, longs. Okay. We want to think in buckets. Then we have shorts. If we need short, we've got China. All right. So we got Billy Ball. We got Billabong. They make the most disgusting tank tops and t-shirts around. We just short it for that. Woo! This thing is hot. This thing, if it gets under 82-ish, it's going to start to get shredded. All right. So we short this Billabong. I know it's not a t-shirt maker, but whatever. For our purposes, today it is. An enemy is an enemy. No matter how you want to frame it, you got to do it till you get your revenge. This is nice. Woo! So we got Billy, PDD. I was gonna say Baidu, but frankly, Mr. Mugatu really acts weird every time we play Baidu. He starts making like weird references, like it's a person. It throws me off. We don't even want to get Mr. Gatsu all going like that. So let's just do PDD and Billy for the sake of conversation, the chat room, before it gets real weird in there. He loves Baidu so much. Now, one last play, I think, probably a daily trader at some point. NVIDIA is a daily trader at this point, but like you have a really good, I think you have a really good location on it. I think everybody and their uncle's looking for that, 200 break. It'll sneak out of nowhere at some point. We got some UPST, NVIDIA, Affirm, SQ. Then we got our earnings plays, CLX, SEDGI, SZI. Woo, there's a nice guy. If you can't make money off this list, turning your man card, your trader card, your lady card, and give it up, because this list is hot. It's caliente. It's smoking. You know what we got to do, which is the do. Let's go have some fun today. God bless America. God bless the stock market. Here we go. It's raining today, so I'm going to be here all day.